All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm not going to make this real long because the sun's going down again, but this is something that was on my mind, so I said, hey, I'm going to talk about it. Do any of you ever think about death all day, every day? And I'm not talking about suicide. I'm talking about, do you think about living life and what you want to do, but then you're also thinking about the day that you're gonna die? You know, the day that you don't know when you're gonna die, but you're thinking about it. You know, do any of you do that? Because I know for me, I think about death all the time, and I really can't remember when I specifically started to think about this all day, every day, almost. You know, it's not all the time, but it's most of the time I'm thinking about death. You know, it's become a reality for me, and I would like to think that this is a phase that I'm going through. I would like to think it's a phase, but I don't know. You know, from now till whenever, I don't know what is going to happen in my life. I don't know where my life is going to go. But, see, here's the thing with this death thing. When I'm in my better places, well, when I'm in my peaks and not my valleys, I can handle it a lot better. I can get through it, you know, even though I'm thinking about death and I'm thinking about these things, it's easier for me to cope because even though it's on my mind, I can think of something else. You know, I can do my music, I could take a walk, you know, just put my mind to other things. But what scares me about this is when I am in those valleys again, where I'm not feeling right and where I'm, you know, kind of depressed and I'm having this really severe anxiety. And that's one thing I want to hit on before I get off of this video. I'm not making this real long. It's only going to be a couple minutes here. But do you ever get anxiety so bad? And I'm not talking about the anxiety with your palms sweating and your heart beating and, you know, you can't swallow right and you're sweating a little bit. If I could go back to having that anxiety, I would take that any day. I would be glad to have original anxiety. See, there's levels to this thing, like I told y'all. And I know a lot of you think that is really bad. Let me tell you, it's not. It's not. It might be bad in your head now. But when you have this anxiety that I'm talking about, where I literally cannot breathe. Like for days, it can go for days where I cannot breathe because I don't know whether it is something physically or psychologically that is going on. It could be some of both. It could be one or the other. But I think it's both. I think it's psychologically and physically. And let me tell you, when you can't breathe, when you're filled with so much stuff that you can't breathe, it's horrible. And that's why I haven't come to this point where I'm doing this every day. I'm not venting and expressing myself like I really want to, because it's the only thing that helps me so that I can breathe easier, so that I can catch my breath and I can actually breathe. Like I'm struggling to breathe. That's how bad me holding on to my whatever's going on in my life, me holding on to it makes me so bad because I'm not expressing my psychological state. I'm not expressing the physical things that are going on. And it's like when I don't do that, I hold it in. And it turns into like this pressure thing where I literally cannot breathe. It's like the strangest thing. I don't understand how it happened or how it developed, but it did, and it's real. This is for real. This is not me bullshitting. This is something that I go through, and I know that when I was talking about me and surrendering all to something besides myself, yes, that does help. But then when I forget these things, and I'm not practicing on expressing myself and venting my problems and doing those things, and I fall in that valley again, and even when I don't try to fall in that valley, it's like I can't explain it. When you have something psychologically going on and physically at the same time, because that's what I think it is, and I'm not even telling myself this, it just comes, because I can't lie. When I was younger, I was always venting out my stuff. I was always talking to someone about stuff. And I remember even as a kid, I'd have trouble breathing when I let myself get this way. I remember these things. And then when I would vent it and I would talk about it and I would just be myself and express myself and act like I acted, I'd be cool for a while. And then I realized it came back. It slowly started to come back. It's like a pressure cooker. It's building and it's building and it's building. And it's kind of like the tightness in my chest is getting more and more and more from that building. And my head is getting more anxiety and more problems, and more things are coming and more things are coming, and I'm thinking of more things. And that's why, when my rent is due and when I have car insurance due and all these things are piling up, I literally cannot breathe thinking of these things. This is why I can't stand so many things in this life that do these things. Other people, this doesn't happen to everybody. There may be a few people out there that go through this same thing that I'm talking about, to where you literally cannot breathe. I'm not talking about just a huff and puff here and there. I'm talking about literally like an elephant is on your chest, literally like you're being squeezed, and your psychological state is adding on to that thing. You see, and this is just me being as truthful as I can be with y'all, because I never lie. I never lie about my problems. And it's really funny because I caught myself thinking of this the other day. Even though I'm thinking of death all the time, and I have my valleys and stuff that I go through, I realized that when I let things build up and I don't talk about them and I don't vent and I don't express myself, this is what happens. These bugs out here are pretty bad. This is what happens, is that this builds up, and I said, my goodness, I gotta go for a walk. I gotta come over here to the park and I gotta do a video. Because I'm all by myself. I'm always by myself. I don't have anyone to talk to. It's just me by myself in my room, or when I take a walk, I'm by myself. When I go to the store, I'm by myself. And look, I don't mind being by myself all the time. But I need that interaction with the arts and other people. I need to express myself to something else besides myself, even though I love expressing myself even when I'm by myself. It's like when I do this, I'm holding on to myself and I'm putting it on myself, if that makes sense. And I don't have that outlet to give it to someone else, because listen, every time that you vent something out of your life, or you talk about it, or you express something, you are going to cause a chain reaction. You are going to do something, whether you think you are or you think you're not. You're doing something for another person in this world when you do that. It might only be one person. It might be 5 people. It might be 10 people. It may be 200 people. I don't know how many of these videos might get through to someone. But I know that it's like I have to do this, because I'm not my old self. I'm not around people. I don't go to people's houses like I always used to. I don't do hardly anything that I used to do to get my mind off of this stuff. And so that I'm not turning myself into a pressure cooker. And that's not even really the terminology I want to use. I would just say there's nothing to vent to. There's nothing to express to. And a lot of that is me holding back. It's me holding back on myself to other people, you see? And it becomes an internal problem. It becomes an internal thing to where I'm holding this in and I'm not letting it out. And then my chest is getting squeezed and I can't breathe. And I'm psychologically thinking of all these things. And I'm holding it in. And I'm letting it be unto myself. And it's causing my sickness. It's causing me to be sick. It's causing me to not be able to breathe. It's causing me to panic. It's causing these things. That's what's causing it. But yet, I still let my pride and my ego get in the way. Because I say, oh, I can do it once or twice a week, and then I'll be okay for the rest of the week. And that ain't how it happens with me. It's almost like it has to be almost an everyday thing for me. I have to practice on, even if people don't want to hear it. Even if I think that I'm getting on someone's nerves by what I say about my internal shit, it's something I have to do for myself. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I have to do it. And this thing about thinking about death, I'm not talking about suicide. Yes, suicide does come to my mind, pretty much. I won't lie to you. Am I going to do it now, in these days? No, it's not going to happen now. I have too many things that I want to do in my life. I have too many places that I want to go and things that I want to show the world before I do go, whenever I do go. But the death thing is always on my mind. I cannot stop thinking that one day I'm going to die. But see, that's why I really would like to think that this is just a phase, because I can't live the rest of my life thinking like this. You know, if it comes once in a while and I think about it once a day or once every couple days or once a week or something, Okay, I can deal with that. But I can't deal with it when it's all the time. Many, many times a day. And it's just like with the suffering thing. A little bit of suffering teaches us stuff. It teaches you things. But too much suffering, there is no purpose. There is no reason for too much suffering. Too much suffering is just, it's an oxymoron. There's no need for it. To suffer just to suffer. And there's a lot of videos on this. There's a whole bunch of things where, people go 5-10 years of suffering with these illnesses and they don't get no better. And then they die these horrible deaths. It's like, why can't we come up with a way for people that are actually really, really suffering to go out gracefully and to go out on their own time if they're tired of suffering? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be other ways to do this, and this is how I always think, because I'm thinking of my own life. And when this comes and happens, whenever it happens to me, and I think of other people, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know how life gets like life gets sometimes. I don't know how I got to this point in my life. I don't know how I'm still around. I honestly don't know how I'm still here. I really don't. It's a mystery even unto me how I'm still here. Because I would have thought that my body would have shut down by now. Like the stuff that I go through. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. This isn't a selfish video. This is a video of me just reflecting on my own life and saying, my goodness, how did I let myself get to where I got? But here's the thing though. Here's the craziest thing about it. I wouldn't change anything but a couple things that I did. Being a drug addict, I wouldn't have changed because that taught me so many things. Now, some of other things I did sexually and to gratify myself, yes, I would have changed and I wouldn't have did. But very few things. And then most things, 99% of things, I wouldn't have changed. Because that's what made me the person I am today. And I just want to end it on this note. I know that there's someone out there right now that is watching this video. And you're going through some life crisis where you might not want to live no more. You're just tired of everything. You think that life, there's no reason for life. And you might be in this valley where you don't think you can get out of. I know where you are at. I know where you are at right now. And I'm here, and even though I'm not speaking to you, I'm listening. I'm listening. Even though I'm not there with you and I'm not speaking to you, I understand. Because if I told you I had an answer for you, I'd be lying. If I told you I could do something to help you, I'd be lying. If I told you I had a solution for you, I'd be lying. The truth hurts, brothers and sisters. The truth hurts. Yes, sometimes it can set us free. But most of the time, the shit hurts and there's no getting around it. But what can you and I do right now at this moment so that we are not panicking? So that we are not having a breathing attack? So that we are not struggling? So that we are not going through some psychological ailment that we may have? What can we do? There are options here. There are options here. My brothers and sisters watching, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, anyone who's watching. There are solutions here. There are options. I didn't want to say solutions. There are options here for us. Don't think that you don't have an option, because you do. Please don't think that for yourself. Don't let that voice in your head, don't let people on YouTube or the internet, don't let your family, don't let that speak to you and tell you what you need to do for yourself or what you can do for yourself. You can do something for yourself. You can do something for yourself. Don't listen to that bullshit. Don't listen to that bullshit that someone told you or what's in your head or any of that shit, because it's a lie. It's a lie. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. May you have a great night and enjoy the beauty of our earth, the blue sky, the trees, air. Later on.